I've spent the first few videos talking about cameras, creativity, and learning new skills, and that's all part of my life. But it's not the part that makes any of this possible. Ashley and I both work full time. She's the CEO of our company. She carries the responsibility of leading it every single day, no days off. The decisions, the pressure, the risk, all of it. Because of that, our household doesn't follow a traditional script. There isn't a clear line between work and home for either of us. There's just life and figuring out how to hold all of it at the same time. I handle a lot of the day-to-day with our kids, school runs, practices, appointments, homework, bedtimes, the constant logistics that keep everything moving forward. Not because I have to, but because that's the balance we've intentionally built. There's no hierarchy here. There's no scorekeeping. We each just own our roles completely. And that trust is what allows both of us to do our jobs and do them well, and still be present for our family and each other. When you watch someone online building something creative, it's easy to assume there's a default setup behind the scenes, that there's a formula that everyone follows, but there isn't. Real life rarely fits into those boxes. What you don't see are the decisions that happen off camera, the conversations late at night, the trade-offs, the constant adjustments, so hopefully nothing important gets dropped. This channel isn't just about photography or video. As I said, it's about my life, my family. It's about how real life actually works when both people are fully committed to their work, to their family, their kids, and most importantly to each other. So before I keep telling this story from my perspective, it felt important to step aside and let Ashley tell hers, because none of this works without her.
So this is kind of funny for me because I'm usually the one behind the scenes and not the one on the mic, because that's where I'm more comfortable. But I'm really honored that Andy asked me to do this, because our story, both personally and professionally, it's a big part of why Always Forward Roofing exists at all. If there's one thing that I hope people take away from this episode, it's that success doesn't usually start with a perfect plan. Most of the time, it starts with a decision to keep moving forward when things feel uncertain, uncomfortable, or even a little bit scary. Andy and I didn't start out with some grand business vision together. We started as two people who believed in each other, sometimes even before we believed in ourselves. He typically always believes in me before I even see the path. Our relationship has always been built on trust, communication, and the willingness to grow. And growth isn't always pretty. There were seasons where we were both just trying to survive, financially, emotionally, mentally, while raising kids, juggling the responsibilities of life, and figuring out who we were becoming and who we wanted to be. One thing I've always respected about Andy is his creativity, his ability to see possibility where others see limitations. And I think what I bring to the table is grit. I don't quit easily. I figure things out and I adapt. There were moments where one of us had to carry more weight than the other, and we've both taken turns doing that. That's real partnership. It's not 50-50 all the time, but it's 100 out of 100 in commitment on both sides, always. And that foundation, our relationship, that is what allowed both of us to take on risks later, including building businesses that didn't exist yet. Before Always Forward Roofing was even a thought, I was just someone who worked really hard and expected a lot from myself. I've always been driven. I like structure, accountability, and results. I also have a strong sense of responsibility, not just for myself, but for everyone around me. I didn't grow up thinking one day, I'm going to own a roofing company. That was not the dream. But I did grow up knowing that I wanted control over my life, my time, and my ability to provide for my family. I've worn a lot of hats, management, operations, problem solver, advocate. And over time, I realized I had a knack for building systems, leading people, and stepping into spaces where others were overwhelmed. I thrive in chaos. That realization is what quietly laid the groundwork for AFR, even before I knew it. Always Forward Roofing didn't start because I wanted to be a roofer. It started because I saw a massive gap in the industry. I saw homeowners being confused, taken advantage of, or left in the dark. I saw crews being treated as disposable. Honestly, nothing makes me more angry. I saw a lack of integrity, communication, and accountability. And I knew there had to be a better way, and I knew I could do it. At the same time, I was at a crossroads personally. I had a choice: stay comfortable or step into something that required me to bet on myself. Knowing that I'm a workaholic, I've been down the road before of owning businesses and being 100% responsible for every dime that comes into my house, and nobody's going to be giving me money on that 9-to-5 job. It's a blessing and a curse that my grit, my work ethic, my time, every move that I make, the more I work, the more I do, the more income I can make. That is amazing. It's a huge blessing. But it's also really scary for a workaholic. And being a mom and a wife, I was fearful that I would lose myself and not be present the way that I want to be in my roles outside of business owner. Thankfully, Andy pushed me past that and keeps me honest every day to make sure that I keep my priorities straight in the areas that matter most to me. Starting AFR was terrifying. I didn't have a safety net. I didn't have endless capital. What I did have was work ethic, high standards, and a refusal to compromise my values. I built AFR on a few core principles. Do what you say you're going to do. Treat people with respect. Take responsibility, even when it's hard. And never stop moving forward. That's where the name comes from. Always forward. No matter what happens, weather delays, financial stress, setbacks, mistakes, we move forward. We learn, we adjust, and we don't quit. If you quit when it gets hard, you don't give yourself the opportunity to learn the most important lessons in life. There were long days, sleepless nights, moments where I questioned everything, and there still are. But every challenge has forced me to become stronger, more decisive, and more confident as a leader. And Andy was there for all of it, supporting me, grounding me, reminding me why I started, keeping me sane, especially on the days that I wanted to give up. When I say give up, there's no quit in me. It's just sometimes it's heavy, and that's okay. What I love about where we are now is that Andy and I are both living into our strengths, and there's something so powerful about that. Seeing him fully embrace and fall into something that he's so good at and truly loves gives me purpose as well. He's channeling his creativity, his eye for storytelling, and his passion through forward focus. He's building something meaningful that inspires people to reflect and to grow and to move forward in their lives. And I'm running companies that create stability, opportunity, and real impact for families and communities, not just our own. We're not competing, we're complementing. And we're modeling for our kids what it looks like to chase purpose, not just a paycheck. If you're listening to this and you're in a time where things feel heavy or uncertain, I need you to hear this. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just have to take the next step forward. Progress isn't loud. Sometimes it's quiet persistence. Sometimes it's choosing courage over comfort. Sometimes it's embracing fear. Do it anyway. Always Forward Roofing wasn't built overnight, and neither was our relationship. Both were built through consistency, integrity, and a belief that forward motion matters. And that's what this channel and our lives are really about. Always forward, no matter what.